This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by... I'm standing here with Michael Garcia, who has just moved to New Hampshire from Florida, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And
Jacksonville, Florida.
You're a free stater. You've come here for more freedom.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, I heard about the Free State Project a couple of years ago, actually from an incident that happened with you, with the open carry.
Why are you acting so aggressive to us? You are, look at your stance, look at the way you're doing stuff. Why don't you back away and talk to us like normal people?
We're not talking to you like that.
No, normal people do not threaten.
And it just got me thinking that as far as when I was, at that point when I was more politically minded, that if I wanted to actually be engaged in politics, I may as well be engaged in politics that would be more effective. I didn't see a lot of things going on in Florida, and so I decided, you know, how can I orient myself to where I could eventually end up in New Hampshire? And so now I'm here. Right now it's just me. I'm trying to start my life up so I can get my wife and child here also, because this is a place I'd want to raise my daughter, and with so many other liberty-loving and just good all around just good people.
So you'd come up to the Liberty Forum, and maybe, is that the only event you'd attended here? Or?
Yeah, this year I went to the Liberty Forum. It was in March. And I was pretty much sold on the idea afterwards. I was actually, I had, for a short stint, I had lived in Kentucky to go to school, and I had wanted to go to New Hampshire, but I was slightly nervous about moving up and not knowing anybody and having a child, because that is something that you have to take into consideration, not having those family connections. But you create those connections with the people around. They're very happy to help you in whatever manner that they can assist you here.
What's the main difference that you've seen here? What have you noticed in New Hampshire maybe that's different from Florida politically?
Politically? Well,
in terms of what freedom we have.
Well, honestly, at least for me personally, because I do have a child, I want to homeschool. That's at least one freedom that's slightly more constrained here in New Hampshire, if you can believe it. It's slightly stricter to homeschool in New Hampshire as opposed to other states, even big government states like New Jersey. So, but besides that, just things like open carry and not being forced to have insurance. There was no helmet law in Florida, and that's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing to wear your helmet, but it's not forced upon you yet.
Yeah, of course, you don't even have to have a seatbelt on here.
You don't have to have a seatbelt, which certainly is nice and convenient when, you know, if you just need to run down the store, you don't have to go and strap on a seatbelt in fear of being pulled over. You know, you should wear your seatbelt just because it's a safe thing, but you should be given the choice.
What kind of activism do you see yourself getting involved in now that you're here?
Probably I would lend support as far as the civil disobedience. I don't know if I would personally. I mean, maybe I would engage in certain acts of non-compliance or something like that. But I'd be interested in starting up connections with just the local people here for things like regards of homeschooling and maybe just conversing with people that may not agree with us. I feel like I could maybe fill that niche because...
Yeah, you said you went to an anti-war protest with a bunch of socialists the other day.
They were self-proclaimed socialists. They, you know, certainly they have their own agenda, and I guess I'm trying to show them that even though that we're free staters, you know, we are people too, and try to convince them at least not to take, you know, our money from us by force.
Yeah, well, it was an anti-war protest, and they're right about that.
They protest for anti-war protesters, but then on Thursdays they're advocates of healthcare reform, and you know what that means by
reform,
you know what that means by healthcare reform, which is, you know, more government intervention. Actually, I was very interested, and I still am, with the profession of medicine, but the way medicine is set up at the moment, it's very much a top-down system. The institution is very much backed by government, and it's very much protected by government. There's not a lot of health care freedom, and so it's very difficult. I could imagine it'd be very difficult, like from the liberty perspective, to actually become a doctor. So I guess I didn't want to have that $100,000 debt to become one. So.
All right, well, Michael, welcome to New Hampshire.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thanks.
We'll see you out there.
All right, bye.
New Hampshire's State House, among the least bad governing institutions on earth. But even here, legislators plot theft and destruction. However, they don't do it without opposition. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance stands in their path and stands ready to train you in the ways of the Citizen Freedom Lobby.
Visit nhliberty.org to get involved.